Now, sir, as Trump returns to the White House, what are some of the key priorities for his administration in the Middle East region?
Well, I think as he promised usually, his nice and famous word, we will come back to make America great again politically and economically. His priority in the Middle East is to make some kind of stability. I think before entering the White House, his envoy to the Middle East, to Israel, succeed to achieve a very important goal that there is a ceasefire have taken place and that there is a change of president and the detains on the both sides, Hamas. That upcoming president in 24 hours, he succeeds something very successful, very tangible. His priority to the Middle East is to make a kind of compromise in the region. Israel has to recognize that to end Hamas or to make the Palestinian to leave the land is a kind of dream, is not easy to be practical, to be achieved. Then I think there is some kind of compromise from his administration to explain to the Israeli leaders that the future will come in a very different way, and they have to listen to the wisdom, and they have to recognize that the people of Gaza has to continue doing what they are doing. I think in the future will have a very good impact from Trump's administration to succeed or to achieve a very successful kind of image on the Middle East area, starting with Gaza and Israel.
Mr. Silva, Trump has already begun appointing his Middle East envoys, including figures like Eric Traeger and Morgan Ortagus. What influence do these appointments have on his approach to the Middle East diplomacy in the second term?
Right. So I think the most important person is Steve Witkoff, because Witkoff basically bulldozed Netanyahu into accepting a ceasefire for hostages deal, which Netanyahu made wide-ranging concessions. Okay, and this was really a surprise. The concessions that Netanyahu gave the Palestinians is control of the Philadelphia route, Netzareh corridor, and the ability to genuinely monitor the return of Palestinian civilians, over 1 million Palestinian civilians, to northern Gaza, and allowing 600 trucks of humanitarian aid per day, which is 100 trucks more than before October 7th. So all these things are very, very important. And Netanyahu basically is on a weak front vis-a-vis President Trump. As Prince Turki bin Faisal from Saudi intelligence said over 1 month ago at Princeton in a keynote, that Trump is more popular with Netanyahu's far-right supporters, and therefore he is able to pressure and bend Netanyahu to his will. The other person who's very important is Elbridge Colby, who is the Undersecretary of Defense for Defense Policy. His grandfather was William Colby, the director of the CIA. Now, Elbridge Colby has said that the Middle East is of less significance for the US, and they do want to focus more on other emerging strategic competitions, especially on the military front with China. So these are the two people I think you need to be looking at closely. Steve Witkoff, who's, as you in your report said, is going to be visiting Gaza, and the other person is Elbridge Colby.
Mr. Maharim, the Gaza ceasefire deal, which was finalized under President Biden's administration and came into effect yesterday, reportedly involved some of Trump's proposals. How might Trump's policy towards Gaza change following this deal?
Well, I think the most important is that there is 3 steps: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And the details are really very vast kind of details. I think both sides, Israeli and Hamas side, will be keen interest and careful to go slowly but surely to achieve the whole goal. The main question, which is irritating everybody in the region, that at the end of these three steps is any kind of finalizing the war. There is no more. The war will stop. Assuming that will happen, and we hope that if the war will stop, the main question will start after that. The first day after the war stop, who will be taking care of the stability of Gaza? Israel rejecting that Hamas can be on the ground, which is not physical. I think it seems like maybe Hamas with the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, both they have to be in charge of the region. Some ideas that some Arab countries, some allies from the international world, some UN. I think the next step, which is the more critical one, what will happen about those 2 millions they were deporting from their homes and they came back. I can say that with some kind of hope they will be back home, but the demolish and the destruction of the area, it needs a lot of rebuilding all the facilities, hospitals, the schools, water, sewerage, all these kind of things. I think some kind of international community has to help Gaza immediate in order to make their life easy again.
And of course, that could take years. But Mr. Silva, back to Trump, the fact that Trump's withdrawal from Iran nuclear deal was one of the most controversial actions of his first term. Trump is known for his controversial actions. How might his second term differ in terms of U.S.-Iran relations? And do you expect any shifts in the current approach to the nuclear non-proliferation treaty?
Right. So there's one step before that. Elbridge Colby has said and has written that it is not in the U.S. interests to attack Iranian nuclear facilities. So that's one thing that's going to happen. Netanyahu has been for a long time trying to push the U.S. into a war with Iran.
Yes,
I don't think that is going to happen under Trump's watch. What will happen is Trump in his second term is going to look to make a change, a sea change in the region. And I don't think going to war is his method. And I know for a fact, given the character of President Trump and the fact that he wants to bolster his reputation, he would be looking to be awarded a Nobel Peace Prize. It doesn't mean that stopping the war in Ukraine, in Gaza, and not going to war with the Iranians is, I think, a very important point. What he would do with the JCPOA, we are not sure.
Mr. Muharrem, back again to you, given the complex situation in Syria now, following the ousting of Bashar al-Assad, what direction might Trump take regarding the relations with Syria's new administration in his second term?
I think the president of American in Syria is something very important. The good relation, I think, and the upcoming relation with the other region like Turkey, the Gulf states, the Middle East allies to the America, I think will keep Trump to keep his eye in some kind of assistance has to be given to the Syrian new administration. And I think one of the good signs that there is some kind of hope. Trump administration will go with different deals to make a better future, a better life for the Syrian people. Of course, there is so many volume of money are freezing or frozen already in different
and there
banks.
are the sanctions as well. The sanctions on Syria. Let's not forget that.
Most important is the sanction from American banks, from American administration. I think it will be released some kind of hope that America is currently hoping that there's a stability will happen in this area. It will help to the stability also in the future in the Middle East.
Now, Mr. Silva, with the election of Lebanon's new president, Joseph Aoun, How might Trump's administration approach its relation with Lebanon, particularly regarding the Israeli aggression on Lebanon that stopped following the ceasefire deal last November?
The big difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump is not genocidal. That's what we see now. The Biden administration certainly was genocidal. They gave the Israelis a free hand, whether it was in Gaza, whether it was West Bank, Jerusalem, Lebanon, Syria. Trump is not going to do that because, given his character, he likes winners. He doesn't like losers. And in his opinion, Netanyahu is a loser. It has cost the U.S. taxpayers trillions of dollars supporting these endless wars. And I don't think that's going to be the case going forward under a Trump administration, which is to the dismay of the aggressive expansionist Israeli defense hawks and the far-right supporters of Netanyahu and Netanyahu himself. Because Trump wants quid pro quo. Americans are not getting anything back from any of these wars, these endless wars, and especially in the Middle East, supporting the Israelis. So Trump will want quid pro quo, and if he does not get it, I think Netanyahu is in for a big surprise.
So Trump wants to win the majority of Americans, especially with regards to the dissatisfaction among the American people, because they said, we as taxpayers, what did you do with all this money? How did it all end up in killing innocent civilians? So I guess Trump here would try to remove this bad image by improving things and trying to establish his image, as you said, as a man of peace, as you said, sir.
Correct.
Mr. Maharim, back again to you. After the ceasefire in Gaza took place, how do you think Trump will approach the issue of the governing post-war Gaza? This is a very critical issue.
As your guest, I like what he said. Trump, the difference between him and Biden, Trump is like always to be a winner. By the time the other one, Biden, he used to be a loser. Trump would like to be a winner. One of his considerations is to do something fruitful, tangible, very soon, very quick, to make the people of Gaza and also the people of Israel that peaceful can be achieved. He has, I think, in his mind with his cabinet, different ideas about the future of Gaza, how the rebuild of Gaza, how the involvement of Gulf states to share Middle East negotiations and the new big projects will impact to facilitate a lot of problems and to find out millions of jobs to the people they are suffering in the region. So the mentality of Trump, I think, it will come in a time that all the parties in the area, they suffered a lot from the war, and it will be in a proper time that I think his ideas can be welcome and can be achievable very soon.
Well, that was Mr. Ahmed Maharim, writer and political analyst. Thank you very much. And also from New York, Mr. PLD Silva, political science professor. Thank you very much. Thank you both for your analysis.